Manchester United are getting closer and closer and closer to signing Ligt this summer, and of course Manchester United fans are incredibly excited. This was a player that was once tipped to be the best defender in the world someday, and he's still a quality footballer. Now, we spoke about his strengths the other week in terms of his profile as a player. Today I want to do more of a focus on actual tactical fit. Will it work at United? Take a look. So I know I said today is going to be a focus on tactical fit, but we do have to quickly just brush over the profile of what Ligt is as a footballer. And for me, he is a player that is a jack of all trades. He can do a little bit of everything that you want from the modern day centre-back, whilst perhaps not excelling in the areas that you would want. But he can do a little bit of everything. In terms of starting off with out of possession, this is a player who can be aggressive, he can be strong, he can back up a press and be aggressive in the duel, looking to squeeze high with his team, trying to win the ball back high up the pitch. But also at the same time, he does have the ability to go the other way as well. He can defend in the channels. Now this is an area where perhaps he isn't elite, but he's no slouch either. He can deal with these situations. So should his fullback be caught higher, he gets isolated 1 versus 1 out wide. Can Ligt deal with these situations? Yeah, he can. And again, he can do it in 2 ways. He can be strong, he can be aggressive, going towards the ball, or he can kind of just look to slow the opposition down, looking to delay the move. So Ligt out of possession ticks most boxes really. He can win the ball in the air, he's strong on the ground, he gets across the pitch well. That's all good signs. In terms of on the ball, again, he's pretty complete. He's 2-footed. Yes, he prefers his right foot, but he can also play with his left. And he can be progressive. He can play the ball through the lines at times, and he can step forward with the ball, carrying the ball into midfield or into open space. So Ligt overall, he does tick a lot of boxes of what you want as a footballer. He's clearly a very decent player. So now we've kind of definitely decided that, we do need to look at, does it actually fit in with United? I guess the obvious immediate answer is yes, this can work. He can fit in at United, because if you can do everything, you can fit most systems, and that's the brilliant thing about Ligt. He is incredibly versatile and will help Manchester United in a lot of different phases of play. But even just over the course of a season, he's really going to help this club. We'll start off with on the ball, where we've already spoken about his 2-footedness. That's going to be really key for United this season. We had a big problem last season where our centre-backs were constantly changing because of injuries, and every time we brought a new player in, we were having to shift players about to try and make things work. Ligt is someone who, no matter what, he can just play. He's just brilliant on the ball. He's excellent in the first phase. He could at times be a backup to Martinez, but if you put him right centre-back, it doesn't matter who his partner is, Ligt is going to carry a lot of the work. He's extremely impressive on the ball in the first phase. I'm not going to say he's elite, he's not the Martinez level, but not many people are. The strong 2-footed play will help United, because it makes him potentially a problem solver. And that was something that we spoke about with Mazraoui this morning. The fact that when you can win your own individual battles, it really helps the rest of the team in the first phase. And Ten Hag demands that. First phase players that solve problems. Ligt being 2-footed could become that. We've got to remember he's still quite young. There's a lot of room for growth in his game. So if he can grow in this area, someday he could be a really good problem solver in the first phase. He can also solve a couple of problems for United a little bit higher up the pitch as well. When we are perhaps sustaining the ball. Maybe the opposition are a slightly more passive team, a more pragmatic team. They're getting players behind the ball, looking to make it kind of tough and compact. Can Ligt help us here? I think he can. I think he can be progressive. Again, I wouldn't say he is elite in this area. I think he does need work. But he's 24 years old. Of course he can grow. Of course he can get so much better. And I think he has in his time with Bayern Munich over in Germany. I think he has improved on the ball. And I think that will help United. Again, the fact that he is 2-footed could be a big boost. Because what we've seen from United over the past couple of seasons is that at times we can get trapped in one side of the pitch. Obviously, that is kind of the effect of playing a right-footed centre-back on the right-hand side, because they want to play with their right foot, they want to play out this way. At times that can make it a little bit too easy to trap you over this side of the pitch. Now, of course, you can pass inside with your right foot as well. You can move the ball into these areas. But if you then add the fact that you can do it with your left foot as well, with the left foot you can still play outside, but with your left foot you can also still play inside, that could add something to United's game in terms of ball progression. Now, the numbers may not drastically increase. We may see the same amount of progressive passes. The important thing to look at will be where those progressive passes are ending up. Are they ending up out wide with an isolated winger? Or are we actually trying to be a little bit more intricate, taking more risks in the centre of the pitch, like a team like Manchester City do, taking these risks in these areas? Ligt could definitely bring that to United. So I think Ligt on the ball is pretty much ideal to play with Martinez. It gives us that kind of steady player and the elite player. I think it's ideal. How about out of possession? Does De Ligt fit this team? I think he does. I think it's the fact that he wants to be front-footed. He wants to be aggressive. We saw last season we had a lot of situations where the forwards would go high, the defenders would sit back. De Ligt naturally won't let that happen because instinctively he wants to play on the front foot. He won't be a player that wants to drop deep towards the edge of his own penalty area. If Ahmad is going high in the press, if Dallow's going high in the press, De Ligt is going to want to join that. He's going to want to get involved with this aggressive play because we've seen already he wants to go into these areas. So I think that will be a good fit for United. But I also think it's a good fit because he can go the other way. And I think that will be handy. And I think it's why he works as a wider centre-back. Because he can be aggressive and he can be cautious. That should be a good balance. And that will really help us with our attacking play. Now that sounds a little bit odd. We're talking about De Ligt's channel defence, his 1v1 defence, which needs work by the way. But we're talking about his strong play there, improving us offensively. How does that make sense? Well, it comes down to trust really. And trusting a player to do their job means I can do my job. If I trust that my centre-back's going to do his job, I can do my job. And that can help United going forward. Because Dallow, knowing that he's got a very capable defender behind him, may be given that extra bit of freedom to move forward down the right-hand side. What's the knock-on effect of that? Someone like Ahmad on the right wing can move infield onto his stronger left foot. We've also seen Garnacho doing it to great effect in the Community Shield. That could be huge for United. We predicted 4 or 5 months ago now that United were going to evolve into a side that has a right-back that likes to get forward. De Ligt could allow that to happen. So that's where that works quite nicely for United. I think in terms of tactical fit, it does make sense. The concern is, it's the one concern, the relationship with Lisandro Martinez. I think De Ligt's relationship with the team can be good if the environment is right, if he gets a bit of luck with injury, has time to settle and grows. He could become a top defender for United and do a lot of the jobs that we need. The question is, does it work with Lisandro Martinez next to him? Because they are both naturally players that want to be aggressive and move towards the ball. Now that could be a massive positive for us, because it could mean we've got two centre-backs who want to back up the press, which again eradicates that problem we had last season where the defence was too deep. Two aggressive centre-backs are going to remove that, so it could be a real positive. But it could be a concern, because if you look back through history at some of the best centre-back partnerships we've ever seen, normally you get an aggressive one and then one who's going to cover the space in behind a little bit more. I'm not sure United really have that with De Ligt and Lisandro Martinez. De Ligt can do it, but it's not his instinct. He does want to be aggressive, and that could be interesting for United. That could cause a couple of problems here and there, perhaps particularly early in the season when there's a few teething problems. There might be mistakes that are made. It also could indicate a slight change of build-up structure from United, because normally, if you play with a back three, you normally have at least one of them is going to be a passive defender who covers in behind. Naturally, United don't have that. So what we could see is more of an approach of a two centre-back build-up system. That could be something that we see from United this season, because then that allows for more of an approach of two aggressive defenders. So that could work for United. But it is a concern. It is a concern. It is something to watch out for. There may be some problems early on. Apart from that, I think the pair complement each other quite nicely. Lisandro Martinez isn't great in the air, which I always get criticism for saying for some reason. De Ligt is very strong in the air. So that kind of balances itself out quite nicely. In terms of on the ball, we've said already, you've got your elite player, who perhaps can do the high volume work, the probing work through the lines, and then you've got your sort of steady Eddie on the ball, who could go on to actually be something quite good. So again, I think I like that balance. We've got a player who can cover when we need it. I think it works. All in all, I think De Ligt can work for Manchester United, and the fact that we've got this pretty good price, it could turn out to be, in 18 to 24 months, we could look back and think this is brilliant, brilliant business, because we have got ourselves a player who could become an elite defender. He hasn't become it yet. He hasn't. Perhaps he hasn't grown as much as what we expected 5 years ago. But the quality is still clearly there. The relationship, the partnership with players around him is going to be important. Erik ten Hag is going to need to get that right. There is a chance that this kind of blows up in our face a little bit. It doesn't go very well. The balance isn't there. The team's a bit too aggressive. We get caught out. We leave space in behind. There could be problems with this shape. But if we want to try and be positive today, rather than looking at what could go wrong, looking at what could go right, a lot could go right here. We could have ourselves a really nice ball-playing pair of centre-backs who can be aggressive and win the ball high up the pitch in a super high-pressing team. It could really work. Will it or not? We don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. But I'm becoming more and more optimistic about this. When he was first linked to the club, I was a little bit uncertain. I wasn't a massive fan of it. But his clear qualities, his leadership attributes, which I think are massive for this Manchester United team, but also his versatility. He can play left centre-back or right centre-back in a back four, or in a back three he can play left centre-back, central centre-back, or right centre-back. And the potential is massive. It's growing on me. It's growing on me. I don't mind the move at all. Let me know what you guys think, though, in the comments down below. Are you a fan of this move? Do you think it's going to be great? Are you a little bit uncertain, perhaps like me? Or do you really think it's a bad transfer? Let me know what you think in the comments, but apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you have enjoyed the double upload. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.